I want a divorce after what my wife said in therapy. My wife, 37 female, and I, 40 male, got married 12 years ago and she has been my rock and our marriage was really good. Or used to be really good before we went to therapy. My friend was suffering from a lot of mental health issues and we were worried for him. He did about 2 years in therapy and is doing a lot better. My wife suffered from anxiety and depression, and she is a vet, which is a very high stress job. I recommended she try therapy too and she agreed. She went to therapy for 6 months and said she likes it and wants me to go with her. I personally find it a little hippy dippy, but it couldn't hurt, so I agreed. The first 2 therapy appointments went well. The therapist, not her personal one, nailed down one thing about my wife: she is extremely distrusting of other humans. She didn't have a good family growing up and her father sold her dog, which she said was her only friend, and she suffered from an eating disorder and almost took her own life in her teens. But as an adult she is relatively well adjusted, and she is a great mom to our 2 kids. He asked us as homework to do the Big 5 personality test. It was a long questionnaire and we shared it with him. My trust of others was a 34 and hers was an 8, which is very low. He asked her to tell him what makes her distrust people. She said people were very two-faced and only did what benefited them, and she felt like she has a disadvantage in life because of her morals. She is very kind to people, which is weird because she doesn't trust them at all. She helps people a lot and one of her friends even said she's the one they go to for advice, because they know she wants the best for them and can keep a secret. She does a lot of unpaid work to help stray animals and is often depressed if an animal passes away. But she says she does it because she feels extreme guilt if she doesn't help others, but she feels people don't feel guilt hurting her, which is why she prefers animals to humans. Then the topic of our marriage and trust came up and she was super tight-lipped about it at first, but then admitted she didn't trust me all that much. She said she actually married me because I was honest in being kind of, in it for myself. She said she can't stand people who appear kind and compassionate, and then lie and backstab people and prefers an honest person. I was shocked because I feel like I'm an honest, but also kind and generous person. But in her eyes I'm not, but she says it's fine because I'm honest about it. She also admitted she took out the, in sickness and in health, part of our vows because she felt like I would divorce her if she got cancer, but she was okay with that because it would kill her to expect it and then be disappointed, but she felt like she knew where she stood with me. I have been thinking about her words and it bothers me so much. I asked her out of therapy why she even married me, and she said she knew I was hardworking and honest, and most people are not kind but that they fake kindness to get ahead. She liked that I didn't and she felt like she really understood me, so she felt safe with me. I told her if she didn't think I was a good person but just an honest one, then we should just divorce, and she got mad and told me our marriage was good, we are working together well and raising our kids and there wasn't anything serious. To me, I just realized my wife didn't think I was a good person and I feel like our marriage has been a lie. Edit: some of you are asking if she loves me and if I love her. I definitely love her, but in therapy she said she thinks she loves me but also admitted she doesn't know if she can love humans, as humans are generally selfish and destructive and will take advantage of people weaker than themselves. I'm really worried if she loves our kids. She acts like she does, but it's hard to tell because she goes above and beyond for people she worries are going to backstab her.
I expected my family to pay for my birthday dinner, but they didn't, and I couldn't eat. Yesterday I turned 18 years old. For the past 6 years, like clockwork, every day on my birthday, we'd go to the same place for dinner and I'd always get the same thing. For those who are a bit confused, I have extreme OCD and high-functioning autism. Which means I'm very well regulated and like things to stay the same way that they always have been. Back to the story. Every year on my birthday we go to Applebee's. The first thing I would get is the steak and shrimp parmesan with a side of loaded mashed potatoes and cheesy steamed broccoli. Hate me or not, with a side of mozzarella sticks. In total it's around $30. A bit expensive, I know. I couldn't really tell something was off until a bit later because when me, my mother, my stepfather, and my older brother sat down, they didn't really say anything. I was confused at first and started tapping my fingers on one another like I always do. The conversation went a little bit like this. Mother, well. I was rather confused. Well? Mother, aren't you gonna call the waiter over? This gave me extreme anxiety. I have extreme issues with speaking with people and I tend to stutter and get very, very scared, if that's the right word. I asked her if she could do it and she does it in a huff. My dad and brother staring nonchalantly. As she calls the waiter over, the alarm bells are ringing in my head. This is never how it went before. As the waiter gets to the table he asks everyone what they want and everyone's orders. As he gets to me, my mother stops him and tells him, separate bill. This is when my heart began beating very fast. I don't have a job, all the money I get is from our neighbors raking leaves. I just kinda freeze. I don't really say anything and I get a really bad stomach ache from the anxiety. This is where I am conflicted on whether I'm the jerk or not. My mother would explain at the table that now that I am 18 I should be able to pay for my own things. I was already feeling nauseous from the situation, so I just said I don't have the money. My mom kinda huffs and shoos the waiter away. This soured the dinner party. However, my mom also paid for my 23-year-old brother. My family kept calling me an entitled little brat the whole ride home. When I got home I just ran to my room and cried. They'd been ignoring me the whole day. I may be bad at social cues, but my family has never acted like this before, I mean never. They've been treating me horribly the whole day. I feel very angry and upset at my family. If I would have been warned, I would have saved my raking money. I also don't mean for this to be a validation post. I have all the information you have. I'm just very confused and I'm terrible with social cues. Asperger's, am I right? My family gets a little tight on money. I guess I really should have asked before I assumed they were going to pay it for me, but I missed out on my birthday dinner because I wasn't mature enough to bring my own money. I'm just going to rake leaves for a couple weeks to save up enough money to order it from takeout.
I don't think my oldest daughter is mine and it's taking a toll on me. I already know that this is a terrible thing to think, but it's been on and off in my mind for the past year, so I guess I'll give context to it all. Me, 32 male, and my ex-wife, 32 female, were together for 10 years before I ended the marriage due to verbal and emotional abuse. During those 10 years we had 2 girls that I love with all my heart. Lola, 10 female, is our oldest that we had towards the beginning of our marriage, while Rachel, 8 female, was midway through. I have absolutely no doubts in my mind that Rachel is mine. She is nearly a carbon copy of me in every way, olive skin, curly jet black hair etc. Lola however is a different story. She is a lot like her mother and shares a lot of her features. Except for 2 things, her general face structure and she has blonde hair. Now for some background on why that is a red flag for me. When we went to community college together she had a friend, 31 male, who she would always hang out with, almost as much as me and her would hang out. He has blonde hair and their noses eerily line up. Now, my ex and her friend met after our first year of marriage. We got married really young which was a stupid decision but besides the fact. Perhaps this is me just being jealous but they were nearly inseparable. Even after we left college he would drive out great lengths to come see us, but usually when I was at work. About a little less than 3 years into our marriage we were set to leave for another state so I can finish my degree. We were all set to leave and then she got pregnant. It was somewhat of a surprise to me but I was too excited on being a father to care. Eventually her friend got married as well and he stopped coming over. With one exception, he would always make it a point to come to Lola's birthday. Now, this friend already has a kid of his own, 1.5 years older than Lola, and would bring him to the party. When I tell you that these 2 look nearly identical, that doesn't even begin to describe it. Eventually these 2 became the same body build, hair color, and face and nose shape. Everyone would mistake them as siblings. That's when these thoughts first got into my head. A few years later we eventually had Rachel and I wanted to try moving again so I could finally finish my degree. Also at this time, my ex's friend had also recently got married to his new girlfriend, who my ex hated, always saying she didn't seem to be a right fit for him. After great resistance from her we finally moved to the other state. Things quickly unraveled in our relationship and we divorced. Not how I imagined things going but that is life. They moved back to her family and coincidentally her friend immediately divorced when they returned. Then soon after that the both of them started dating and then got married. I am happy for them, I really am. But when I went to go visit them for the summer, Lola asked me if she could take her stepdad's last name which really hurt, but if it was what she truly wanted I wasn't going to deny her that. Rachel wanted to keep her last name as it makes her feel closer to me. Then the thing that really set me off. For some reason we were all joking about no more kids even though Lola wants another sibling, and she was sad she would never get one. Me and my current significant other have been thinking of having a kid so I told her as much. She wasn't really amused, saying that she meant for her mom and her stepdad to have a kid, because a baby for me wouldn't really be their sibling like her mom and her stepdad's. Her mom quickly interjected saying that would be the case for them too as they would only be half siblings. It felt very forced and now that I'm back home it's all I can think about. I haven't really talked with my eldest for the past week and a half because of it. I don't want to be thinking this, I don't want to believe my ex would have done that. She was a lot of things during our marriage but I would never in a million years think of her as a cheater, but now it's all I can think about. I couldn't keep this one to myself. I need to know if I sound crazy or not.